Welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, we'll see some of the important Linux terminal command, and we are going to use the Kali Linux for this section. So you can see the interface of the Kali Linux over here. You can see the calendar, the time displayed at the center, and at the left hand side you can see the application section, and in the application you can see the favorites where we have the Firefox terminal and every files, and the important application over here which is Maltego and the WEBVTT framework, which you can also navigate from this left hand side menu bar. So in the application you can see bunch of application which is going to have the wireless attack, reverse engineering toolkits, social engineering toolkits, and the useful user applications, which will be your accessories and graphics. So these are the bunch of application. You can simply go over here and navigate this. Another thing you can also do is in the menu bar, or basically in this navigation bar, you can simply press that icon and you can search your application in this search bar. If you want the terminal, you can simply search for the terminal. You can enter that application and here it opens. So this is the way to just navigate your application in the Kali Linux. So next thing over here is the places. So when I just go to the places, you can see all of these folder that is similar to that of Windows machine. So you can see the downloads, documents, music, pictures, and the videos. If I go to the computer, this is going to be your parent directory. So everything over here is basically the root directory, and you can see the subdirectories over here: binary directories, dev directories, etc directories, and your optional directories. All of these directories are very important. So all you have to remember is Linux have the main directory named as a root directory, which is denoted by the /, and next all of these directories are the subdirectories of that main root directories. So you can see that we have a bunch of directories over here, which is first the bin directory, which stands for the binary, and it contains all the command that is to be executed in the Linux machine. When I just open here, you can see all of these commands. So you can see right here we have the, let me say, clear command. So you can see the clear command. So this can be executed in the terminal. So when I just go to the terminal, and let me write some gibberish first, and if you want to clear this terminal, you can simply press this clear command and press enter. It is going to be cleared. So this binary folder of this root directory contains all of the command that is to be executed in this Linux machine. So next one here is optional. So you can see that opt directory right over here, which means optional, and in this directory all the program available will be installed. Like if you want to just install Chrome, which is third-party library that doesn't come as a pre-packed in this Linux machine, then you can simply download that Chrome or basically any application, third-party application, and that will be installed in this optional folder. So next one here is a home. So home directory has the personal data which made you to create an account. Like we have here the root. So root is basically the sudo, or basically what is the default root, or basically default username. If you make any other username instead or beyond the root, then it will be inside this home. We don't have any username which is beyond that of, or basically except of root. That means we don't have anything inside this home. So this home contains all the personal data which made when you just create the account. Like maybe if you just create your own account or account with your name, then that will be inside this home. So next is the temp folder. So it contains all the directories which has the temporary data. So if you want to track that temporary data, you can simply go on this temp folder. Next one is very important, which is basically the var. So if you just open this var, you will get the bunch of directories. So this var folder contains the variable data that changes over the time. So you can see the www folder. If I just go to the www, you will see the HTML. So the page that is going to be rendered when you just run the Apache server is going to be this page. So when I just open this page, it will open in the leaf pad, or basically in this Mozilla, and this is the basically page that is going to be executed in the browser if you just run this Apache server. So let me just go back and go to this var folder again, and you can see the library folder over here, which is the important folder, and this is the all the services that comes as pre-packed in this Kali machine. So you can say we have a beef XSS over here, which is the beef framework. You can see autopsy here. You can see apt folder, which is going to install the third package library for us, or basically any package that is installed from this var directory. So you can see this is very important directory. You can see the Apache 2 server right over here. So this is the all the packages that comes as pre-packed, or basically when you install the Kali Linux, this is the installed in your Kali Linux. So you can see the PHP server over here. You can see the MySQL server right over here. So you can make use of all of these services that comes as pre-packed in the Kali Linux from the terminal. So we have now seen some of the important variables, or basically important directories of this root directory. So let's see how we can just manipulate, how we can just navigate from one directory to another directory from the Linux command, and we'll make use of a terminal to do that. So let me first open our terminal. So let's go back, and this is our terminal. So let me zoom in and let me just clear one more time. So first of all, we'll see the file and directory manipulation. So if I say pwd, this is basically print working directory. So if I just say pwd and hit enter, it is going to show us a root. So basically we are in the root directory. If I just change directory to desktop, and if I say again pwd, which is basically print working directory, it will change from root to desktop. Now our directory is desktop. So next thing is to change the directory. So in order to change the directory, you have to make use of cd. So cd stands for change directory. We have just done here, that is change directory from the root to the desktop, and desktop has been added to over here. So if I want to change from the desktop to root, then we have to just go back from desktop to the root. So that should be done with this double dot. If I enter, then we are back to the root. If I say ls now, which is basically list, and this is going to list everything that is inside this root. So we have desktop, documents, music, everything. If you want to go to the directly, let me say something like ham, which is not inside this root, then it is going to give us a error, because that is not inside this root. It should be only this folder you can just navigate into. So if you say something like I want to go to the music, you'll say cd music, and this is going to the music. So if I want to go back, cd double dot, you are going back, ls, and again inside this root you have this folder where you can just navigate. If you want to go to the desktop, it should be cd and desktop. So it is case sensitive, so you can't do something like cd desktop. You should do that is with a capital D. So name should be exactly what we have just here. So this is case sensitive. So if I just say enter, you are inside this desktop. To see what is the content of this desktop, you'll simply press ls or type ls. You'll see we have the demo folder and this virtual edition run inside this desktop. If you want to go back, cd dot dot, and you are inside the root now. So this ls is to list all the files and folder in the current directory. If you want to go to the document, you'll say cd, which is for the change directory, and I'll say document. It should be documents, and if I say ls, it has only this file over here, so it is just showing the folder inside that current directory. So if you want to list all the detail of the files and folder, all you need to do is, let me just go back and let me say desktop. And now if you want to list everything inside that desktop, then you have to ela. So ela is an attribute to this list command. So if I just hit enter, it is going to give us everything including hidden ones. So these are the hidden ones. So if you just open that desktop, you will find only this demo and this run file. You won't find this 2 folder, that is these are the hidden one. So this is going to show us everything including the hidden ones. It has also the detailed information about these permissions, and we will just know about these permissions using the chmod command in the upcoming lecture. But for now you can see the detailed information of this folder with this ELA attribute inside this ls command. So you can see we have now a detailed list of the files and folder including the hidden ones with this ls command. So now next thing all you need to do is, basically we have seen now cd, ls and the pwd, which are the basic command in order to just change directory, to see the working directories, and basically to just navigate from one directory to another. So next thing all you need to do is to create the files. Let's see how we can just create the files in this desktop. So we are inside this desktop. If you want to just go to another directory, you can simply change the directory. If you want to just create the folder in the downloads, you can simply change directory from the current directory to the downloads. I want to make inside this desktop, so I'll just say desktop. So let me clear first this console. Now in order to create the file, you can make use of this touch command and give the file name. So after the touch, I'll say, let me say this is a hack file. So I'll say hack.txt. If I hit enter, now if I say ls, then we have created hack.txt inside this desktop. So you can also edit or create the new file using this nano command. If you say nano, and if I say hack1.txt, and you can see we have now hack1.txt, which is the file. You can edit this file or you can create if it doesn't exist using that nano. So we have the alternative to this nano, which is vim and emacs. But for now, if I want to just exit out of it, I'll simply press Ctrl X, and now if I list, we have hack.txt, because in order to just create that file you have to save it and then exit. I haven't saved that because I don't want to just create new file, so I have just closed instead of creating it, so it won't be created. Only we have hack.txt, which was created with this touch command. So next thing we have to know is to copy, move and rename the files and directories. So in order to copy the file, I'll make use of this cp command. So let me just make a real bigger than this. So cp command is to create a copy of the file. So if I want to just create the copy of the hack.txt into, let me say, hack1.txt, you can do simply like that. And if you list, we have hack1.txt, and every content of the hack.txt will be copied to the hack1.txt using this command. So you can also create a copy of a directory and just everything in it using this cp and r attribute, and you can simply now copy the directory. So if I say demo, which is the directory inside this desktop, let me say demo1, so everything will be copied now inside this demo1 with this r attribute. So if you simply say cp only, then that is for the file name. If you want to have the directories copied, it should be with the r attribute. So next one is to move the files. So you can simply do that using this mv, which is the move command, and you can simply give the file name now. So I want to just copy, let me say hack.txt, and I'll just copy. Okay, let me just clear this first, and now I'll simply say mb, which is for move, and the file name. So I forgot the file name, it should be hack.1. okay, mb for the moving, and now I'll say hack.txt file should be moved, and inside the home, let me say inside the desktop, or you can also go to the downloads, and I want to just move here. So we have now moved this file inside this desktop, or you can simply go to the download, and this is going to overwrite any existing file with the same name. So if you have same name, that is hack.txt, inside this desktop, that is going to be overwritten. So when I just hit enter, now if I say ls, here we have the hack.txt has been overridden. So next one is to move a directory to the another location. So if you want to move the directory, not a file name, so directory can be moved with let me say demo should be moved, and let me say that should be moved in home and downloads. If I hit enter, if I go to, let me see really quick, go to downloads, let's see it. Okay, there is nothing over there. So we have just moved, let me say lsl. Okay, we haven't moved, so basically there was error over here. So let me first delete this, that is using the rm command, and in order to delete the file, let me just go real quick over here, that is with the desktop part. We'll see what has happened over there. So rm is to remove, and if you want to remove any file, let me say hack1.txt, it should be rm and hack1.txt. so if I list now, it has gone because of this rm command. And if you want to force delete a file, everything from the file, I'll the rm and file c, it should be the file and the file name, everything will be deleted. So just careful about this rm command, is very dangerous command, so you have to be very careful while using that command. So next we'll see about the system and the user information. So let me show you the system and a user information. It is not related to any file system, so it will be independent to the file system. It can be executed in any of the directories and you will get the same output. So this is basically the system and user information. cl, if you say cl command, this is going to give us a monthly calendar. If you say date, which is the date command, then this is going to give us a date and a time. If you see uptime, then this is going to give us uptime in a currently logged in user, which is this user. One user has been logged in. If you want to say the system user information, that is going to be uname a, this is going to give us a system information. So this is our system information. If you want to display the kernel ring burger, or basically buffer, and if you want to display the kernel ring buffer, it should be this command. So you can see everything the system has logged and every information about this system. So this is very important, kernel ring buffer. If you want to shut off this system, you'll simply do power off, which is going to shut down the system. If you want to reboot, it should be reboot command. If you hit enter, it will be reboot. So this is the simple user information and system information. So you can also do something like to see the command or to display disk space usage. You can see dfh, this is going to give us a disk space usage. If you want to see partition table, you can simply say fdisk, and it should be, let me see, L or A, it should be L. Okay, with the L you can see the disk partition table. If you want to display the memory usage, you can simply press a free, which is going to simply show us a memory usage. So this has system information and basic information that is going to be important. Now let's see the user information. So now in order to see the user information, first command would be who am I. So it is very important information. So if I hit enter, then it is going to say root. So this is your username. If you want to check who is online, simply press W and you'll see who is online over here. If you want to see the history of the executed command, you'll say history. Every command will be seen over here, every command that is executed in this machine. If you want to display the last login info of the user, it should be last command, and you'll see when the user has been just basically executed that command or logged in as a user. And you can simply display the user information with the finger root, and you can see this displays the user information. So next one, you can see the networking utilities command. So let's see the networking utilities command now. If you want to ping the host, you'll simply type ping, and if you want to ping any host, let me say google.com, you will just ping that, and you can see the IP information right over here. make sure you have internet connection, and you will say that you are just pinging a host over here. You'll get every information of that host using this ping command. If you want to just stop that execution, you can press Ctrl and C to stop that running of that command. And now next thing what you can do is with this who is command and give the domain name. So if you want to see who is the host, you can say who is and give the domain name, which is alternative of this ping command. If you know the domain name, then you can simply type ping and the domain name. It will just give us IP. If you have a IP and want to get the domain name, then you can simply type this who is command, and if you just pass this IP here, Control C. Okay, Control C is not going to work in a Kali. You have to simply copy from here, and with this who is command, paste it after this who is printed, and you can see now it will give all the information about that organization, which is obviously the Google. Let me clear one more time. Next one is to dig. So if you want to just get the DNS information, you can use this dig command and give the domain. If you want this, then you can simply dig and you can get the DNS information of the google.com. If you want to get the name server information, it is with the ns lookup command, and you can simply pass here a name server. If you want to display the network interfaces, so this is important. If config, this command is very important command. We'll see a lot of references to this if config, how to just configure your network adapter, everything in the upcoming lecture with this if config and ip config, iw config command. So I'll say if you want to display wireless network adapter, it should be iw config. So if I say iw config, there is no wireless extension over here. And if you just want to display the kernel IP routing table, all you need to do is, let me clear this first. So if you want to display the IP routing tables, it is the command which is netstat command, and if I just say R, it is going to give us the networking interfaces or our IP routing table. So for now it is just the default over here, which is the IP, and gateway is not over there. We'll just configure all of these in the upcoming lecture. So if you want to check for the established and listening port connections, which can be done with this netstat. So if you just made a payload and if you inject that payload in the victim, and if you want to just check for the connections or the ports, you can simply use this netstat command and antp command, and it is going to give us the information about the connections and the port. If you want to just display the ARP cache table for all the interface, you can do with ARP-A. This is going to give us the information about the cache tables for all the interface. So these are the some of the networking utilities that we have in the Kali Linux and in the Linux basically. So these are the tools we'll be learning, and in the upcoming lecture we'll see how the information can be gathered, how the backdoor can be just created and that can be injected in the victim machine, and how to remain the anonymous. So before that, you can simply go to your Firefox and any browser. So all you need to do is, I want to go to this Media College website and type Linux. After that, type commands, and if I just hit command, not commands, it should be only command, and if I just go over here and if I list all of this Linux command, you'll see the list of a Linux command over here. So all you need to do is simply see what this command does with this reference, and you can see the examples tutorial over here of this Linux command. I have tried my best to just get everything that is important. So we'll see about this apt command and chmod command in the upcoming lecture, and except that everything is been covered. So you can see if you want the manual, you can simply type man and give the information about the command you want to get basically, and everything here is been covered. Also, basically some of these commands are unnecessary for the hacking purpose, so I have just made some of the importance command list, and I have just gone through each of them in this lecture. In the upcoming lecture, we'll see about the apt command and how to remain anonymous, and basically we'll see about the chmod command, which is going to change the ss permission of the files and directories, which is the important lecture. So see you in the next one.